Welcome back, friends and family, and all that watch. I am Aaron, um, and here I am today just talking about a couple things that were on my mind. First of all, my local cigar lounge has. I finally was able to find the Metallica blackened M80 Maduro. So I'm gonna try these later. I don't smoke in my house, so I'm not gonna do it here, but I did want to unwrap it, just kind of give it a nice. It smells good. That's probably gonna be a good cigar, my man. But so no, there was that. But no, last night. I was flipping through, my movies and stuff because I always have a million that are recorded, and I decided I was gonna watch the Sam Mendes film. I think it was Sam Mendes, 1917. I can't get this back in, so I'm just gonna put it down here. And it's about the World War One. Talk about 1917, and I think World War One. I might be wrong. So I'm not a history buff, but anyway, so basically it's about these two guys leave they get the orders to go to a different regiment of their it's a British unit, and they get the orders to go to the other unit that they're going to find and let them know that to call off an attack because basically they're going to get outnumbered and ambushed if they do. And it's just about their journey, and it's really incredible. It's this nice. There's really the acting is all great and everything like that, but it really is just it's like a one-shot film really for like a big chunk of it. It's a really nice tracking shot. It's just panned over the whole time. It's incredible. But it got me thinking, and war is hard. War is, it's really just unnecessary. And let me preface this with, I have utmost respect for all the men and women in uniform that are out there fighting for our country. So this is not a slam on them in any way, shape, or form. But war itself is just absolutely unnecessary and silly. And, it made me, in all forms of war, and it really made me think, this film made me think of how real life and how hard it was back then, in wars before it and all that, when they didn't have the technology that we have now. And even simple things that we think about, that are just kind of taken for granted that, us as civilians are like, oh, no big deal, are, we don't think about it twice. But then like back then it was, not only did they maybe not have it, but especially in war, it's like they really didn't have it. It's like, it just how the technology back then would have made it 10 times worse. I mean, war is always hell and everything, and you never want it. But I just feel like the small improvements that we may make over time and different things may benefit. It's like if we had this back then, of course, and just imagine, just anyway. So that was kind of, what I was thinking about, and it just goes to show that you look at it, and not just in the military, but I mean just in general as a civilization, how far we've come on so many different things. I mean, we're back in 1950. I don't think people probably talked about going to the moon, but it wasn't an option. And then we went, and then now we're talking about going to Mars. Now we're talking different things, and when is enough enough? When are we always in competition with somebody? Is there always a constant struggle and a constant just the next step? What's the next step? Where are we at? What's now? We just did this. I feel like one of these days, when hopefully cancer is cured of all kinds, that it's going to be, I feel like that's going to be the thing. Okay, here's the pill or whatever it's going to be. We've now cured cancer. This is the cancer cure. Okay, what do you got next? And it's like, we can't take a second and appreciate that this person, this group of people, whatever it was, just cured cancer. Like now we have to worry about curing whatever else. And of course we should worry about curing everything and whatever, but it's just, I think we all live in an undue, I don't know if undue's the word, I might just throw that out there because I'm trying to be smart. I think we live in a world where it's very, what can you do next? What can you do for me? How does this benefit me? So instead of that, we should really try to, how does this benefit us? How does this And because you got to think about it, Oppenheimer, did this thing, created this bomb, which in one aspect was absolutely amazing for the war. It done, war's over. But then he lived with these ramifications of, and that's something I want to go more into at some point. I'll do another video on it, deep diving about Oppenheimer and all that. But but he lived with all of this regret and this, you know, he didn't do it, but essentially he gave us the government the power to kill millions of people. And you know, was it too far? Like, my point is, when are we at the point where it's like, maybe we should take a step back and think about what we're doing here? Like, does this really benefit truly the human race? Does this really whatever? Do we need to clone goats? Do we need to, you know, test? I mean, that's the thing. Testing, animal testing. How is that beneficial? You know what I mean? And yeah, I know. And at the end of the day, I mean, I'm an animal lover, but at the end of the day, yes, human life, not all human life, but overall, the human race is more important than animals. I understand that. But at what cost? At what point are we like, okay, do we really need to find this out? Like, is this really something that we need to test? And most of the times I would probably say no, because if you're going to hurt something or somebody or whatever, why would you test it? Because it's very, there's fine lines that you probably would cross at that point when it's like, oh, we're going to do this and whatever else. I just don't see the benefit of some of the things, some of the technology that we're getting, some of the boundaries we push. Boundaries need to be pushed. Limits need to be tested. I understand that, but there's sometimes that it's just very, what are we doing? What's the end goal here? Are we just, is it all just to stay on top? Are we just trying to beat, Russia and China and Japan and whatever else country? Or are we actually trying to progress, the future? Are we actually trying to do something beneficial? I think these are questions we need to ask, and we need to, you know, do that as a country, as a government. The fact, assuming we need a government, but that's for another day. I can go years on that, but realistically, are we? I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling, but it just made me think. Basically, at the end of the day, I technology is great. Technology is so beneficial in so many ways. But where's the line? What is the end goal? Where do we? I think, how they ask you, where do you see yourself in 10 years? I think we need to look at those questions when we're dealing with technology and infrastructure and different things like that. How does what we're doing now affect 20 years from now? How does that affect my grandchildren? Food for thought. Just another thought with a dog.